What weighs on my mind most days is my finances, but I'm by myself every single day. I'm really starting to feel like I am just an outsider to the world. I have not exercised regularly in a very long time. Of course, I don't feel that great because I'm not exercising regularly, so it takes a mental toll on you. I probably won't see my family for the holidays. But like, what I'm doing to myself, is it really worth all this? So I don't know. It's just, it weighs on my mind every single day, and it's really, really starting to take a big toll on my mental health. I continue to just fall in love with this state. There really is just an abundance of amazing things like this everywhere in Colorado. I really want to spend more time here. I do have to head about 3 or 4 hours to the east of here to a small town called Alamosa. But the good thing is, right next to Alamosa is Sand Dunes National Park, and I've never been there, so I'll get to cross off another national park off my list. So I was recently asked a little bit more about my cooking setup and about how I get food prepared and kind of like what kind of meals I prepare. I used to live in a teardrop trailer and I had a little bit bigger kitchen area. So I was asked, how is that different now that I live in the car? For me, it's really not that much different. I like to cook with real food. So I actually am making some like ramen soup tonight. So I have the soup cooking right now. And then I have some chicken that I'm gonna cut up and put in there. And then I like vegetables, so I got some vegetables here. My setup is actually pretty similar to what I used to have in my teardrop. I do have a refrigerator, so I keep all my cold stuff in there. And then I have an area back here, which is all my dry goods. And a 2-burner stove for me. I need a 2-burner stove because I often have 2 things going, like boiling water for something, maybe noodles or something. And then I'm cooking like a protein, like chicken or steak or something. That's kind of what I cook on the road. I do a lot of soups, a lot of chicken, a lot of salads. I cooked lasagna the other night, spaghetti, tacos. I love tacos. I do a lot of tacos. It's just kind of whatever I'm in the mood for, really. I don't find that cooking on the road is really that much different from cooking in a house or an apartment, personally. All right, well, welcome to Alamosa, Colorado. Yeah, just a little bit of snow came down while I was in the library working today. Look at my car. Guess I'm gonna stay here for a little while, see what the weather's gonna do tomorrow. My only concern really is I don't have a ton of experience driving in the snow. Luckily, this is a pretty small town and the speed limits around here are already pretty slow. They're only like 35 already because it's a pretty small town. But definitely ruins my plans to go to Great Dunes National Park, because Great Dunes National Park is another, I don't remember how much more in elevation, but they were getting it even worse than this. So definitely not heading there right now. We'll see what I'll do in the next day or two. Well, good morning. So even though it feels like 37 degrees outside, I am out here in a short sleeve shirt. And that's because for the past 3 days straight, it has been nothing but snow here. And I have been in my heavy jacket and wool base layers, wool long johns, wool socks, like the whole 9 yards. So it feels amazing to me out here right now. But I'm finally gonna leave Alamosa. I kind of got snowed in, honestly. I got into town to pick up some mail, then started on a project for a client, but then it snowed so much that the roads, even though the city was great and they cleared up the roads pretty fast, I didn't personally feel comfortable with riding on them. So I just stayed in town. I got a shower at the nearby rec center for only $3, which is remarkable. So now I'm headed into Great Sand Dunes National Park. It's way off in the distance. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up. The mountains look amazing. So I already called and the road is still open to get up there. But they did say that there might be some snow and ice on the road, so I'm gonna take it a little slow. And then I've decided to go south into New Mexico, and then we'll see, but I probably will go into Arizona eventually. So anyways, that's where I'm headed. But first, Sand Dunes National Park. All right, well, this is Great Sand Dunes National Park. Probably more of a summer park. I knew there wouldn't be much to do up here given their current conditions. I knew that the roads were closed in for most of the part, and that honestly, even when the conditions are great, that this is really more of a place that you come to the dunes and then you can hike up to the dunes if you want to and take like a sled to go down or something like that. And while hiking on sand doesn't really sound that much fun to me, this is snow on top of sand. So if I wanted to hike up there, it'd just be sinking into snow, which is sinking into sand. So really doesn't sound that appealing to me. Still a beautiful area. Those are the sand dunes actually behind me, but in front of me, or now behind me, are this mountain range. And I don't know what this mountain range is, but it is absolutely stunning. It's really, really gorgeous. All right, well, there's really not that much to do here. I was just so close in the town I was staying at in Alamosa. It's only 45 minutes to drive to come up here. I knew I'd be remorse if I didn't just go ahead and knock this park off my list. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be back in this area again. However, since there's really not much to do here, my next stop is New Mexico. All right, well, I am standing over the Rio Grande Gorge on top of the Rio Grande Bridge. This was built in the 60s, and it is the 5th largest bridge in the US. It's just known for its architectural beauty and steel construction, and it's a really great view if you get to get up here and see down to the bottom. It's about 600 feet down to the gorge. There's a visitor center right over there I'm gonna walk to or probably drive to. It's pretty cold, but I'm gonna drive over there and then I'll get a better view of the bridge itself. All right, so I thought this was a visitor center from back there. That's what it looked like. It's definitely not. It's just a parking area, a rest stop area, but it does have some really cool views of the bridge. Oh, it is so nice to be able to cook again. I have not been able to cook in the back of the car because it's been snowing for the past several nights. So I've either had to go to a restaurant or one night I literally just had snacks for dinner. I had like power bars and like a banana for dinner. So tonight I'm actually cooking. I don't know why I've been on a pad thai kick lately, but I just made it again. I got some chicken and steak in there because I had a little bit of both left over. Some noodles, I cut up some fresh vegetables and have the sauce and put a little peanuts on top. Well, good morning from some open BLM land here in New Mexico. BLM is public land. You can stay on it up to 14 days. And this is a great spot. This is a kind of a remote road that came all the way out here, and no one else was out here last night. There's been a couple of cars coming and going, and there's a couple of trails you can take. And right over my shoulder, back this way, is the Rio Grande River. So you can actually take this little road down. Someone just said it's about 1.5 miles down. Beautiful, beautiful area. I love New Mexico. I've been before, but I've only been in the southern part of New Mexico, so I've never been in the northern part. So, all right, from here, I'm not quite sure what I want to do. So I'm contemplating either going down to Santa Fe, which is about 1.5 hours from here, or heading a little bit more west because I really want to check out the Four Corners. And if you're not familiar, Four Corners is literally where 4 states meet up in one spot. So Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona all come together in one place. And you can actually lay on the ground and put one arm in one state, another arm in another state, one leg in another state, another leg in another state. It's, I don't know if it's a national monument, but it's completely free. But the last time I was here was 4 years ago in 2020, late 2020. And there's still a lot of COVID restrictions and that area was closed off. So I couldn't make it. And then right next to Four Corners is Monument Valley. And if you're not familiar, Monument Valley is on Navajo land. So it's not part of the park system, but it is famously known where Forrest Gump ended his run.
I'm pretty tired now. Think I'll go home.
And so you can go not only to Monument Valley and see that area, but you can also take the road up and see the place where Forrest Gump ended his famous run across America. And there's a little sign there and everything. So anyways, I've been to the road where he ended his run. That's not really what I want to go back and see, but I would love to actually go into the Monument Valley and get close to the actual mountains and stuff that are there. It was, again, closed in 2020. I couldn't make it. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of thinking more about heading west. Decisions.
I know we could have it all.
Oh yeah, look at all that ice. Oh yeah, look at all that ice on the inside of the car. Awesome. All right, so last night I'm at my sleeping spot for the night. It was this trailhead that I slept at the night before. So it was quiet, it was pushed back from the side of the road. I had a good night's sleep. It was fine, I liked it. So I went back there again last night to sleep again. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching a movie on my phone, and my movie's propped up on my dash. And because it's propped on my dash, I can look out the windshield very easily. And as I'm sitting there watching my movie, I see something pop up in the windshield, like outside, just outside the windshield. But it was an alive thing. It wasn't like just a leaf or something like that getting blown in the wind. I'm like, oh no, I think that's a mouse. Now, normally a mouse would be, oh, that's cute, it's a mouse. But let me tell you something. Mice can do some serious damage to your cars. They've been known to chew through some wires and things. So I had to quickly throw in a headlamp. I grabbed this like ice scraper thing with a brush on the side of it to get like snow and stuff off your car that I just picked up last week when we had a big winter storm come through the area. I propped open the hood. He's looking directly at me. So I took the brush and I like brushed him off the car, and he fell on the ground and scampered off. But I had to move spots, and this was like 10:30 at night. And I was about to go to sleep in about 30 minutes. You know, it's just one of those little things. You have to deal with nature. And sometimes it's not big nature like a moose or a bear or something like that. Sometimes it's small nature you have to be careful of. It's so cold out here that my hands are going numb from using the cold water to wash dishes and stuff. So I had this little electric kettle, and I warmed the water up, so now I can actually wash my dishes. All right, so one of the things that I said I would do when I got more and more into my YouTube channel is I said I would be more personable. I would share really what was going through my mind and what I was experiencing. And that means the good things and the bad things. And lately it's been a lot of bad. Mostly what weighs on my mind most days is my finances. I do freelance work, freelance video editing, and in the world of freelance anything, you can have a great month, it goes up, and then you have a bad month next month and it goes down. And this month has definitely been down. I have had maybe 3 jobs this month, and they are just not really cutting my bills. I am looking for full-time, well, part-time employment, but also full-time employment, whatever I can kind of find. But the reality is, like, finding a remote job that you want to do does take a lot. And I have emailed something like 14 companies, and I've heard back from one of them. And I've done follow-ups on the other ones, and I still haven't heard anything back. A lot of the remote jobs out there still require you to be in a place every single day. And that's probably the biggest challenge with my lifestyle, right? Is that I am in my car every single day. I am not always in places with cell phone service. I am not always in places with good Wi-Fi. I can often get to those places. Like, I go to libraries a lot. I go to coffee shops. I've worked at a McDonald's before, all because they have good internet. But you don't really know until you get to those places how good the internet might really be. I mean, I've spent 3 or 4 hours uploading something to a client that should normally take 10 minutes on good internet. And a lot of the jobs out there still require you to receive like inbound calls from customers or something like that. I can't do that. Like, I'm in public places all the time, so I can't take personal phone calls or even work calls in a public place. I'm in a library where there's other people around. I can't do something like that. A lot of the jobs I'm looking at are just kind of challenging. And a lot of them are just things I don't honestly want to do. Like, I don't have any skill set to be a tax preparer. And that's a big one right now as we go into the new fiscal year. You know, a lot of people need someone who will help out with doing their taxes. Well, I don't know anything about taxes, and I just really don't want to do that. There's also like a lot of real estate jobs out there, but they require you to be in a central location all the time. They may say you can work remotely, but you're in a central location, right? They say you have to be in the Miami area or the San Diego area or the Boston area or whatever. Or maybe just in that state. They're like, no, you have to be in Ohio. You have to be in California, whatever. So a lot of those jobs, they say they're remote, but then you do a little digging and they're like, no, really, it's remote at your house. Yes, but you really need to be in a central location. And then I thought about just going back to, like a retail store, because I have lots of years of retail experience. I even worked at a gym for a little while. So I thought, well, maybe just going back to like a Planet Fitness and working there. But the reality on those is that you're only going to make $12 to $15 an hour. And that means I have to be stuck in that place for a couple months. And I didn't get into the travel lifestyle so that I can be stuck in the same place all the time. If I wanted to do that, I would just go back home to Florida where it's warm and I have friends and family I can stay with. Yeah, I would go back to a place that I'm familiar with, I know, and I could go into, again, a warmer climate. Being in the cold environment every day when I'm still living in my car and then having to go into a retail environment, or a gym or whatever, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And they don't pay enough for me to save any money. They would just pay me enough to offset my cost of living every single month. So after working there for 3, maybe 4 months, I haven't really saved anything. If I'm going to work at a job temporarily for a couple months, it's going to be a job that's going to give me enough money in my pocket that I could then take off for a few months again and travel maybe for 3 or 4 months and then, have to do the same thing and just rinse and repeat, right? A lot of full-time travelers do that. They pick up a seasonal job somewhere for a few months and then they go out and they travel for a few months and then they come back to working and so on, so on, and so on. So I don't know. It's just, it weighs on my mind every single day and it's really, really starting to take a big toll on my mental health. Also, the weather has not helped at all. I'm in New Mexico currently. It gets plenty cold here. I got snowed in, first off, in lower Colorado for a few days. It snowed and iced and I could not go anywhere. I could have, but I just really didn't feel safe with driving on the roads like that because I just don't have a lot of experience driving in snowy conditions. I have a great jacket. I have great base layers. The part that starts to get to you is when you wake up and it's in the low 20s. It's been in the teens at times when I wake up and I have to make coffee outside. I have to cook outside. I have to brush my teeth outside. And that means that my toes and my fingers go numb from the cold. Often I have to take my gloves off, right, to be able to hold things and handle things with just my bare hands. And then they get wet from water when I'm cooking or having to do dishes or something like that. So that's always a challenge. And I know that I could just go south, but being snowed in got me stuck for a few days. And then I've been in this town just trying to get a job because the other thing is, I'm constantly on the move and I don't know where my next great Wi-Fi connection is. And this place has pretty good Wi-Fi, this library in this town. And there's an okay place to sleep up the street and everything. So, I could go south, but it's still pretty cold when you go down south from here. It's New Mexico. It's not, Florida. I've been looking at Tucson as a place to possibly get to. Their overnight lows are in the low 40s. And that's totally doable. I could wake up to 40 something degrees and be totally fine. That actually feels warm to me. It's just the low 20s and teens that really is starting to get to me a little bit. And then I don't know, this lifestyle, I love it. I really do. I feel very, very blessed to be able to see the things that I've seen and to do the things I've done and to go to places I've gone. But I'm by myself every single day. And I'm okay with that. It's not so much, I guess, the loneliness that's gotten to me. It's the boredom because I have not exercised regularly in a very long time. In 3-4 months now was the last time I really exercised regularly, every couple days at least. I don't go on that many hikes anymore because honestly, there's just not a lot of hikes in the area or it's just too cold or like I said, it snowed. So I'm not hiking in that. It's just not fun to me. I haven't come across a Planet Fitness in a couple weeks now. So I can't even just go into a place and go to a walk on a treadmill or get a workout in or something like that because none of those exist. It's completely pitch black by 5:30. The other night, just to stretch my legs, I had been sitting in a library working all day and I really just wanted to stretch my legs at the end of the night instead of going back to a campsite and just sitting there watching movies on my phone. So I decided, okay, let me look up some like a mall or something like that in this town maybe I can go to and just walk around. Well, this town doesn't have an indoor mall. It has an outside mall. It's very small. It's like a little plaza kind of place. But literally all the stores were closed at 6 o'clock. I got there a couple minutes after 6, so all the stores were closed. So I'm like, okay, like how do these businesses even make money? So yeah, so I walked around basically in the cold, in the dark, window shopping at closed stores just because I didn't want to go sit in my car. And that's how bored I'm getting is I go back to my car, I find my sleeping spot for the night. I end up watching movies for like 4 hours on my phone, and I'm just sitting on my ass the entire time. And that's not me. I'm not a sit down on my ass kind of person. I'm a very active person normally. You know, when I lived in a city and I had an apartment, I was always out doing something typically. So it's really starting to take a toll on me that I'm just not exercising regularly. I don't feel that great because I'm not exercising regularly. So it takes a mental toll on you. Of course, it takes a physical toll on you because you're not in the physical condition that you used to be. And then as the holidays are approaching, I'm thinking a lot about, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to try to get home to see family? Now, again, I'm in New Mexico and I'm probably going to head to Arizona where it's warmer. So I'm going to be even further away from Florida, which is where my family is. So the options are, if I want to see them for the holidays, do I want to drive literally across the country? They'll take me 3.5 to 4 days of solid driving, like 11-hour days, because I've done that drive before. I've driven across the country. I know it's like 10, 11-hour days full of driving. Took me about 3.5 days to do it. Do I want to do that? Put a ton of extra miles on this car and spend a ton of money in gas, only to be there for what? 2-3 weeks just to turn around and drive all the way back out to Arizona because I really would like to prefer to be out here in the West. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Then I looked into maybe flying. Now I haven't looked actually at the plane tickets, but it doesn't really matter because I can't afford plane tickets. It comes back to the finance thing. I can't afford that right now. The cost of gas would probably be the same as the cost of flying and vice versa. You know, there's that. I probably won't see my family for the holidays. I've been alone on the holidays before, plenty of times because I lived in a different state for most of my family. That's not the biggest thing. It certainly is something to consider. And again, it's just an added weight on top of what I'm already experiencing, how I'm feeling. I think the other thing about this lifestyle is because I'm always by myself, is it's made me disenfranchised from the rest of society. Meaning that every time I go into a place where there's more people, I feel like I want to immediately leave. I'm feeling more and more isolated because I'm always alone. And when I get around crowds or I get into not even a crowd. Like if I go to the grocery store, I literally have anxiety sometimes about going to the grocery store because I'm around more people. I'm really starting to feel like I am just an outsider to the world. I just feel like I don't belong in so many places. And that could be the grocery store. It's going back home to family. It's going back to friends. It's everything. Like, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even feel like I belong in this lifestyle. Like I want to do it. It's where I feel the most comfortable. But like what I'm doing to myself, is it really worth all this? You know, it's just a phase. I know that this moment will overcome. Mostly, and I'm telling you right now, mostly it's finances. If I could find a job that still allowed me to do this lifestyle, I think all those other things, while I might experience them sometimes, I don't think there'd be the things that weigh me down the most. Financially, I'm way down the most. I don't know what to do. I don't know if it makes sense to go back home to Florida, to be miserable, stuck in a city, because I just genuinely am miserable when I'm stuck in a city. I don't really want to go home, but at least I could get a job there and I would have friends and I would have family and I'd be in a warm climate and I wouldn't have frozen toes and fingers every morning just trying to make coffee. So I'm sorry. I know it's a rant. It's just what I'm feeling. And I want to be open and honest about what it's really like out here sometimes. All right, I think I found my space for the night. All right, so I am parked on some BLM just outside the Bisty Badlands. Literally, they're like a mile up the street. And I have absolutely no idea what this area looks like because I can only see 20 feet or whatever it is in front of the car with my headlights. I can see some other campers down the way, and that's actually the spot that I Overlander was telling me to stay at. So just because I already see like 3 cars down there, I'm just gonna stay up here and give myself my own space and give them their space. Like I said, I don't know what else is around here. So I saw this off the side of the road and just got to stay here. I don't think there's anyone else technically around me except for those people. But that has actually happened to me before. I actually, just outside of Alamogordo, New Mexico, going to the White Sands National Park, it was me and another Nomad, and we had found a spot to park for the night. We get down this little bumpy BLM road, dirt road, and we get there, and honestly, I thought we were the only ones there. We found a little, like, on the side of the road there, and we parked for the night. I thought we were the only ones there. I woke up the next morning, and I swear to God, there was at least 15 or 20 RVs all around us, and vans and stuff like that. It was a very, very popular spot to stay at. I don't know, it could be like that, but I think those are the only people down there. We'll see what it's like in the morning. All right, true story. There's a few things I learned when it came to staying warm in my little teardrop trailer when I traveled for a year in that. And that is, one, I didn't really bring the right clothes. I didn't really have the right clothes for winter gear because I came from Florida and I was super naive on how cold the rest of the country really gets. And two, I didn't bring like enough blankets and things. And three, I had a nice, huge, I guess it's like a fleece robe back home that I used to bundle up in, even in Florida nights. It gets cold sometimes in Florida, like 30 degrees, maybe 5 nights out of the entire year, but it would get that way. And sometimes I would wrap up in this big warm robe that I had. And there were so many times when I lived in my little teardrop trailer that I was like, man, I really, really, really wish I had that robe. It would be nice to bundle up in this thing while I would just sit in my trailer at night and watch movies or something like that. Well, when I moved into the car, I decided that I was gonna bring A, the right clothes, B, enough blankets, and C, that I was gonna bring my robe. That's right. I brought my robe and I actually use this every single night. Because guess what? This is how I live. This is my living room. I don't really care how I look. I stay warm. What I love most about these kind of places is that this is not a national park. This is not a national monument. And therefore it does not get the attention that those places get. It's so quiet out here. I'm literally the only one out here. There was like one other camper near the parking area, but I haven't seen anybody else walking around these things. You literally can just hang out here and never see another soul all day long, which is so nice. It's so peaceful, it's so quiet. But this is just a beautiful area in the world that you can just come to explore. And these are my favorite places. I love coming to these kind of places that are off the beaten path, kind of. And yeah, you could sleep here. Like I slept right up the street and it's just gorgeous and there was no one here and it was just quiet and there's beautiful stars and skies, and these are my favorite places by far. These are just my favorite places. All right, well, that's the Bisty Badlands. Completely free to check out if you're ever in the northwest side of New Mexico. I'm not that far from the town of Shiprock, and there's a natural rock formation there in Shiprock that I'm planning to check out, maybe even today. So beautiful, beautiful area. Highly recommend coming here and checking this out if you're in the area. I really don't want to leave, but A, if I head into the town of Farmington, which is about 45 minutes away, I can get a shower, and I haven't had a shower in a few days. Being in these kind of places really does reset my clock. This absolutely is why I'm out here. And I feel so much better from the other day when I was going through a lot mentally. Honestly, for like a week, I was really feeling down. It's just that I don't make a ton of money, and that can be very stressful when it comes to bills, obviously. You know, I'm working on that, but I'm trying not to let it get me down. There's other things I can do to make money. So I might just have to pull the trigger and work in a place for 3 or 4 months, you know, at a store, or I've been looking at Amazon fulfillment centers as an opportunity to maybe make a little bit of money. So, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do in life. Being out here really does help me. I feel so much better. Like I said, if I hurry up today, I can check out all these other things. So I think I'm going to do that. So there's Shiprock in the distance there, and I drove all the way here, like an hour and a half to get here. Google Maps took me down the wrong road, so I had to turn around and do a different route to get here. Anyways, I get all the way here and then I see this sign. So this sign clearly says that it's on Navajo land and you must be in the Navajo Nation to access it. That really sucks. It's like so close. I mean, I guess I'm seeing it, but I mean, I wanted to be able to drive up right next to it, you know? Oh man, it sucks. Nice thing is there's some camping right up there. I don't know if I have a neighbor. I see somebody over there parked. So I don't know if they're there for the night or not, but so disappointing. I wanted to be able to drive right up next to that thing. Damn. All right, well, I'm standing at the world famous Four Corners. This is where 4 states, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah all meet up in one place. And I've been trying to come here for a very long time. In 2020, actually, last time I was in this side of the country was fall 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020. So this area was actually locked down. I couldn't come here, but finally made it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just end the video here. I'm technically in Arizona because that is where I'm headed next. I'm headed into Monument Valley and I'm actually gonna go back to the Grand Canyon. It's been a couple years since I've been there, and why not spend Thanksgiving at the Grand Canyon, right? New Mexico is a state that I absolutely adore. I love visiting the state. Every time I come here, it's just been absolutely amazing. I've been mostly just in the southern part of the state, so it was great to be able to see the northern part of the state. I was here a little bit longer than expected, mostly because I got caught up in the town of Farmington doing some work. So I actually went from Shiprock, the rock formation, to the town of Farmington for literally a week and did some work. And now I'm finally making it over here to Arizona, where I will finally start to make my descent down south for the winter, where it will be much, much warmer for me. I know this video is a little bit of a longer one, and I know that it's a little bit different. I don't usually like to complain and air my dirty laundry online, but you know, I'm trying to make this authentic. I'm trying to give you what I'm actually feeling out here. Sometimes what we all go through, right? If you're watching this video and you feel the need to make a really sarcastic, snarky comment about how I should just suck it up or this or that, or just do this or just do that, just know that whatever you're thinking, I probably tried, done, and what I experienced and shared with you online is probably something you've experienced at some point in your life. So please do us all a favor and only leave positive feedback, will you, please? All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. As always, thank you for escaping normal life with me.